السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Masjid Carpark podcast, episode 31.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
How are you, Sheikh Lata and Sheikh Khalid? Lata just gave you a
Alhamdulillah.
promotion.
جزاك الله خير.
If only it was that. If only it was that easy.
What year? He's like, I studied 12 years. This guy, how much did he study to get there? Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Anyway, thought I'd just add that little one in there.
No, yeah, please do. There are many people who do listen and don't subscribe, so would appreciate if they do subscribe. Yeah.
All 20 of you.
No, we got 128 subscribers. Get out of here.
MashaAllah, all 128 legends. Tell your friends. If each person told 100 people, that's it. I'm retired.
Yeah. Is my audio coming in clear?
Loud and clear. Break up,
Alhamdulillah.
Roger. We hear you.
Alhamdulillah.
How's your week been?
My week.
No, not how's your week been. How is your 450-kilometer walk going?
Yeah.
You remember last week? Remember he did 10Ks. Whoa, and he said, "What was it? 10Ks every day." I think that's what you were aiming for. That was the text that I got. And then I got a little map of how much he walked.
No, what happened was.
Here we go.
Let me tell you what happened.
It's the same situation.
I
as
really
the
had a
scenario. Your foot hurt, and then
No, my
said,
foot
"Don't walk
was
again."
my foot was hurting, and then I actually went for a 10K walk. Alhamdulillah, day one.
MashaAllah.
And I limped back. About 5 kilometers, and I did complete the 10K. But then my foot was sore. It took me like 3 days to recover, and I shouldn't have really gone for a walk. I have intention to add a few another 10, to add a few other, start doing it as a regular thing. But so I only done one 10 kilometer. My body, I think, went into shock because for 3 days because it hasn't done exercise. I haven't done exercise for 6 months. So, but I need to make it a regular thing. But it's a good initiative. But I'm hoping today, tonight, or tomorrow, inshallah, to go for the next 10.
Tonight. Okay, just for our listeners, it's 20 past 10 on a Wednesday evening.
All right, not tonight, maybe tomorrow, inshallah. Tomorrow, inshallah. Like 8 p.m. or something like that, inshallah, bismillah. I hope.
And how's the keto diet going? This is hilarious, man. We've been doing the podcast for almost a year. Keto diet's been going for a year.
No. Well, it hasn't really gone. I've had like 2 months of it. I'm on it at the moment, but I decided to go off it. I think it's causing depression. I think it's.
Whoa!
I'm serious about it. No. I read studies on it. My mood was really down while I'm on it.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, but I realized that bread is the joy of life, and I am genetically what do you call it?
Predisposed to bread.
Predisposed to bread, and to do would be zulm on it. Then I read studies on it that qualifies that. Where carbohydrates has many amino acids and things that you need, building blocks for your body. Which
he's gonna undo everything he's just said on the next.
No. I realize what I need is to find that sweet spot. So for example, like I had today, I had like
shop?
That would be wrong. Like having excessive sugars. To have maybe like I made my own little bread, like a little corn bread, right? About that big, That's all I had today. Like along with. Yeah, I know. That's only flour I had. I got to go shopping, but there's no bread at home, so I couldn't be bothered. So I made my own little bread. But the thing is that was okay. Like
I can imagine. I'm sorry to interrupt. I can imagine you in the kitchen with this flour going. Now what?
I was rolling pin in the whole works, mate. Like I actually
you made
like
the Indian style bread.
Yeah. Like probably then
It wasn't a bread loaf.
Then I fried it in ghee. That was like a parathas type stuff. Anyway, so it wasn't the most, but it was small. It was a small piece. Number one, Number two, very lightly.
Deep fried in ghee.
No, it wasn't
Bas-
deep fried.
bas-
Get out of here.
Basically, Malala just went, Keto, what's that?
No. And then I had like for afternoon, I had like a
Remember, I
what was
talking
it?
up keto segment?
A pumpkin, beans, and salad. You know, like a salad. That's all I had in the afternoon, and I feel okay. I feel good. Like I feel. The thing is that with the keto, it is an absolute mental commitment, man. To like you're fighting against your body's instinct to just have a piece of bread. You know, so
Yeah, bro.
I've done it. I've done it, and
It's pretty.
the way to do it is just.
I can give up bread, but rice is a tough one. You know,
You got Ethiopians eat rice?
Yeah, man. Well, Ethiopians eat injera, but I particularly just love my rice.
But like actually Ethiopians in Ethiopia, they eat rice?
Yeah.
Okay. No, some countries don't eat rice. Like they bread is like the staple, like, you know, and other countries they don't eat bread at all. Like I went to one place in one country and they all they had was rice. We had to look. I sent people out to look for, you know, flour. You know, the whole morning was spent looking.
For me, it's I think it's an even spread for me, bread and rice.
Yeah, like white rice, no. For me, white rice is a no.
What? What do you mean?
Like just plain white rice? It
White
depends on
rice
what
is
you
the
have on
best.
it.
I
white rice.
like a little bit of white rice with like I actually want like nothing on
Yeah,
just
Thai
white
green
rice.
curry. You know, like I get
with a little
that.
bit of sauce, but like you need
No,
it.
but you know, fresh white rice when it's just been baked. I
Yeah,
reckon
when that
that's amazing.
smell and that wafting, you know, from the rice cooker.
Anyway,
I'm getting hungry now. I'm just.
I made
Let's,
beef stew tonight, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, and for Lata's benefit, because last time I think you were here ages ago, and we made a soup or something like it's very hearty. My wife's like, in the words of Lata, it's very hearty.
Yeah.
So I made a hearty beef stew.
Would you have it with rice or bread?
Roti.
Bread, of course.
You know how you have you know you can buy the parathas, you can buy rotis now, ready made. All you gotta do is fry them.
Yeah, you
So
put me
it's
you put me
pretty
onto
nice.
them. It's like the best.
Yeah,
They're actually
but is
pretty
it?
good. Yeah, I was surprised at the level of like quality, like for something that's frozen. You know, you don't think
Yeah,
that.
you don't expect that.
Yes, but very good quality.
Some poor guy invented it overseas, and like that lady that invented mee goreng, but it wasn't her business. This guy's probably like, making billions off my paratha recipe.
Is that the actual thing, or you just?
Yeah, remember that lady we talked about it when she passed away, Rahmatullah alayhi.
Yeah, I know
The one
her,
that invented
but
mee
I'm
goreng.
talking about
No,
the
I just
roti.
made that up.
Okay.
No,
I
I
was
just
gonna
made
say
that
like, who's this person that's going around just stealing people's ideas and just?
First mee goreng, now the roti is the same businessman.
Yeah.
No,
What about yourself, Lada? What's been happening in your world?
In my world, honestly, a lot, but it's not nothing that I can really, I don't know, share because it's a bit personal. But
don't share it.
yeah. But
Tell us, Lata. What did
If
the
you said
doctor
that,
say?
you know that already. Don't share it.
yeah,
Allah
What
make
did
it
the
easy for
doctor
you,
say?
brother. Allah make it easy for you.
not like
Someone
that,
say.
but alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, ala kulli hal.
We just went on Lada's
Sabr, brother, sabr. Make sabr, brother.
May Allah help
it's a
you,
test.
brother.
It's a test. I will not help you in any way, but we'll make dua for you, inshallah.
He will make you a cornbread.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Jazakallah, I appreciate that.
whatever happened to this brisket thing that was meant to be? Oh no, lockdown.
Lockdown.
We'll give you the
Yeah.
excuse of lockdown, just like sore foot for the 10K walk.
I looked at the barbecue. Yes, it's rusted now. I looked at the barbecue outside. It's been sitting in the rain, collecting rainwater.
So we're gonna have rusted brisket.
No. You don't need that much equipment for it. But I'll have it's on the agenda, inshallah.
Well, we're going to be opening up soon, so you know.
The coal is there, the smoke wood, the chips are there, the barbecue's there. So just need to get a piece of brisket and that's it. You know, like I'll be able
Send a
to.
letter to Dan Andrews.
Yeah, for
to open up so we can come over for the brisket.
yeah.
But
you know, but you know, like there is a basis for like carbohydrates making you happy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's a hadith. I don't know if have you heard of talbina?
No.
So basically, there's a hadith on it. There's several hadiths on actually that talbina is basically barley either barley flour or barley, grounded barley or barley itself. And then it's boiled in milk with honey in it. It's like a porridge,
Okay.
right? It's a type of porridge. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to give this to a person who's bereaved. It comforts the heart, right? Coming back to your hearty meal, you know. Why is it called a hearty meal? You know, so but Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said about that specific food, he goes, when there was grieving in the house of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or in the family, in the households of Rasulullah, then that used to be, the stove used to be always on, meaning they were cooking that. So it's like a very it's comfort food, right? We say that, those sort of things, comfort food. And there's some guy did like a study on it, like
that's ice cream for me.
Like a proper, like he did a proper, but what's in the ice cream that's comforting? He did like a detailed study of sugar, obviously complex carbohydrates because of barley, and then sugar because of honey. And the third one was third thing is apparently barley's got a lot of zinc in it, which may be and zinc might be affect your mood in like a positive way. So the point being is that sugar and bread and these things, carbohydrates. So he said there's only two things that he could bring it. He did actually proper study with older people, like an old people's home, and to check people's moods, and like did a proper experiment. Like actually, like a proper doctor did a proper experiment study on this, and then to see what was in it that was to check. So there's those only two things: the sugar or the carbohydrate content of it, right? Because barley's got carbohydrates and honey's got carbohydrates. And then the only other thing that he could put it down to was zinc. That is a high concentration of zinc in this, which is one of the supplements that you have. It's vitamin supplements and so forth. So it could be the mood, like carbohydrates might be a mood improver, and lack thereof might be make you feeling down and make you feel like not sending to the point of depression.
I can't afford to be down as the Imam of
yeah. So the point I'm trying to get to is keto is not keto is not Islamic. It's not. Doesn't sound. Look, I got to be careful. We are joking. This is not a fatwa. Just brothers talking. And like we mentioned once on the fly. I mentioned once. Off the cuff remark about you asked about cannibalism or something. This a couple of months ago, and I said no, it's haram.
Right?
Yeah, there's some cannibalism, about eating somebody else. It's not so simple. This is actually a discussion in fiqh books. What? I've been meaning every week after that.
Now you
no. In the cannibalism is haram and normal circumstances, but what if your survival depends on eating a dead person that's there? So there's actually a discussion among the scholars and the madhabs. I can't remember who's who, but the madhabs actually differ on this. So is saving the life of a person important or the honor of the dead body? So the ulama differ on this. The reason I mentioned this is an extreme case where there's no alternative and it's a matter of survival, right? That the only thing that you're left is to eat another human being. That's only food to keep your energy up. No, you can argue the emotional arguments, what you like and dislike and all that, but the fuqaha have to come with a definitive answer based on the Quran. So in the Sharia, like along with protecting your deen, protecting your life is put right at the top, like as a priority. Like it takes, So is the sanctity of a person's body. So I passed off the cuff remark without qualifying. I said, no, I just said it's haram. And it is haram according to, I think, 2 imams out of the 4, and the other 2 say no.
Okay, you just blown my mind. That came left field.
Yeah, but I realized that later on I said that, but I never addressed it afterwards, because sometimes we do discuss masail here. It just happens to be we have a discussion about community and so forth, and sometimes I joke and so forth. Sometimes we make a remark, but then immediately the week after I had a class and that came up, that discussion. So there was a back and forth between discussion with some ulama, and then I realized, I remember the podcast. I said, I think I said that is haram. And it is haram according to many imams, but then others in extreme situation of saving your life, they have allowed it. Like this is a darura, necessity, like blood transfers, like organ transplant. There's a whole discussion around that. We won't talk about it now. But just
you can't just say that and then say we won't. You know what I mean?
No. But what I'm saying is, like, this is
the
not
rest
a
of the
detailed
podcast
discussion.
gone. There's no topics right now.
No. I don't want to talk about fatwas.
Some randoms that's clicked on this podcast and decided to fast forward a little bit because he got bored listening to Malana talk about making his bread, right? Like we all did. No, I'm joking. We loved it, right? And then he comes to cannibalism.
No, I think cannibalism probably maybe is it's a you might have images
Cannibalism
of
is different
Papua New
to-
Guinea, some kid being cooked in
Bro,
Papua New
what the
Guinea.
hell?
No, that kid. Remember that documentary where there was a little kid that he
No,
was.
I don't.
There was a tribe that had a kid. I think he was rescued eventually. That he was tagged to be sacrificed and eaten by the last tribe that are cannibals in Papua New Guinea. But anyway, that's
when you leave the keto diet, you can't talk properly.
Yeah.
That cornbread, man. Speaking
Excuse
of,
me.
wow, I don't know where to go with that because that just
No, I thought I
left
addressed
field.
that because I didn't
Like,
mention it off the. It was off,
I'm glad you
I said it was
addressed it. Good
haram
timing.
without qualifying it, because you asked and I said it's haram, and then I didn't even like.
Is it
Now
haram
that's all
to
I'm
steal
thinking
all the
about.
stuff?
Like now
Yeah,
I'm thinking about the whole organ transplant thing as well.
And the organ transplant is a different issue, and that's a very big discussion. There are there's for and against all of mine that as well, because it's basically handing your body to be cut up and so forth. So there's a whole. It's a very complex discussion actually, and here's not the place for that.
Yeah.
Why not? We can have complex discussions with you.
Yeah. Yeah, but
complex fiqh discussions. What would you like to know?
Anyway, speaking of
complex fiqh discussions.
Yeah,
Is it haram to order
speaking
anything
about
from
exercise
the US?
and health, you said you've been doing. What have you been doing?
Oh, bro, I don't want to. Okay, are we going to go there?
No, I talk about my 10-kilometer limping back to my house.
Yeah,
so
that's you. All right, I started this yoga thing, so I've been doing it on and off or whatever. And yeah, no, I'm serious.
Guru
man.
Wajid. Yeah, please. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Right? I started this.
Not in public anyway.
Are you jealous because it look good? Right. So I started this yoga thing. Right. It's this person on the internet, and so I'm just following along. Bro, I've noticed a difference in just the way I stand or balance.
What type of yoga? What type of yoga are you doing?
What?
What type of yoga?
YouTube yoga.
All I'm gonna say is astaghfirullah. There's Bikram, hot yoga. There's hot yoga.
Bro,
hot yoga is where they heat up the room. Please get your mind out of the gutter. It means they heat up the room. I know what you're thinking, but they heat up the.
I wasn't even going there.
They heat it up to like I can't remember, like 35 degrees or 40 degrees or something, like steam or whatever, and then you do that. Then you do yoga.
Very, very uncomfortable.
Is that what you
It's supposed to like open up your pores and make you more flexible, the joints and all that, and it's really popular.
Mine's called Lounge Room YouTube Yoga.
What is it?
Lounge Room YouTube Yoga. I just made that up. There's like I do it in my lounge room, man.
But some of the difficult poses,
bro. Mashallah, like first, it's. I've been doing like the beginners thing for a little while now.
He's going to his roots.
Yeah, because everyone in
my
family,
Modi would be proud.
Everyone in my family in Hyderabad does yoga first thing in the morning because that's how we roll, right?
Do they?
No.
Does anybody in your family do it?
No, of course not.
Okay.
They
pray salah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, good point. Right? And
there's big ulama that as long as they're weird religious, if it's done as an exercise, it's fine.
No, exercise. Look, even the religious stuff, like this person that does it, they don't do there's none of that weirdness. If there was, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
The words are there. It's like find yourself hasana and just melt into the floor. And I'm just like, okay, I'm melting. Today was what was it? It was 6-pack abs yoga. 16 minutes. 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I've already got a 6-pack. Okay, maybe not, but it was painful.
There's a lot of stretching, and it's good for flexibility.
No, it's really good. It's very good for flexibility and things like that, and also even in like when you're standing, just into posture.
Yeah.
I got my son to do it with me the other morning. It was hilarious, man. He's just looking. I'm like, I'm the dad, so I'm just calling the yoga. You're doing it. It's good for you, right, dude? I realized the benefit that I had because I was balancing better than he was. So
Oh, okay.
it works. I was just looking at this guy. I go, damn, that means I can do stuff.
But you're shorter compared to him.
What's that got to do with anything?
Your center of balance is like closer. It's easier to balance, but maybe.
Are you being serious right now?
No, I'm serious.
Don't
Like you're
kill
not
for them.
short. You know, I'm not saying you're short. I'm saying
No, I'm
very
not even worried
tall.
about the short. Don't
It's
kill
more
it for them.
challenging.
I
It's
am
challenging for
I'm-
challenging for him.
I'm like an antelope gliding through the forest with my balance.
Oh no! You should make a video. Open up your channel, your YouTube channel.
I found my Shavasana. I don't even know if that's not even a real word.
My wife's one.
And I melted into the ground with it. And Lata's Shavasana just went off. That's not a real word, by the way. I'm just going with it. Anyway, we've been talking crap for about 20 minutes, but it's been interesting. Now,
No, your yoga.
Shavasana,
Yeah, no. I want to explore this yoga thing. You know,
I'm telling you, try it. If you have a look at some of these guys, I can't remember his name.
No, I did for a while. I was doing yoga for a while. Last year, I was doing it. Then I just left it.
There's one guy that couldn't.
My
even
thing is
walk.
consistency.
Yeah, keto diet.
Huh?
Keto diet.
Yeah, keto. Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
walk one night.
Yeah.
one corn.
Well, at least I'm doing different things all the time. You know, trying to look
Bro,
for.
you're exploring the wonders of life. That's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. Why should I just stick to one? Why should I stay in one place? See the whole world. You know.
The Ummah is big.
Yeah.
No, but there's one guy that does it, and he's actually made a program for people. You got some guys, bro, massive guys that couldn't even walk. They're running. It's amazing. Like
Oh, that's
just from yoga.
You're talking about the Diamond.
Yes.
Diamond Dallas
I know.
yoga.
So, I can't remember.
Yeah. He's an ex-wrestler, WWF wrestler.
Bro, why don't
Isn't
you
that
do
movie?
like? Why don't you put
huh?
on Malana?
Isn't that a
I
movie,
reckon-
Diamond Dallas?
No.
I don't what movies have you been watching?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
We just lost 100 of those 128.
Let's not go there, please. But no. What was I saying? I lost my train. No, Diamond Dallas yoga. He goes, "This ain't your grandma's yoga," or something like that. That's his like line.
You just made it worse. Okay.
No. That's the one where the guy's running. He couldn't walk, and he made him. He made him do this.
Keep digging.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about yoga.
Now you want to change the topic.
You were telling me the other day that you had
what you should do? Okay, let's just finish off on the yoga topic though. You should do the Diamond Dallas before and after photos as well. You wear budgie smugglers before shots,
no,
and then after shots. They can be the thumbnails for the podcast.
Yeah, stuff. Yeah, that's clickbait and a half.
No one's clicking.
There's
on
always
that
Photoshop. There's Photoshop. Yeah, the post. So the post US. What's happened in the US? The deliveries are not getting made to Australia.
Yeah,
There's delays or something from the US.
Do you know
I think
it's funny? There's I'm sure you both know him, but I don't know if I want to say his name on the podcast. But a very close brother of mine, runs a business where he basically imports and exports goods. And what he's realized is that international deliveries are coming a lot sooner than interstate deliveries. So it's kind of weird that we've got this issue with United States Post, but it's still quicker, according to, I guess, this friend of mine. It's quicker getting things from the US than it is getting it from Sydney for his business.
Yeah, but maybe they're coming on train in larger amounts, like trains.
What's happening is the Australian Postal Service, the Australia Post in Melbourne, 200 of their workers are on isolation, home quarantine. So that's where the problem started. So it's not about a strike or anything like that. In Victoria, it's just because so many people are testing positive.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
Sorry, that's to do with Australia, within Australia, or the American one?
Within Australia, he's getting delays.
Yeah, that's in Australia. Then there's on the American side of things. There's something that's happened.
They've stopped posting to like 21 countries.
Yeah.
UK,
Like
Australia, New
Somalia,
Zealand. Do they even
Libya.
post us? UK,
I don't know,
Australia,
like,
New
and
Zealand.
Australia. Oh, really? UK as well?
UK's on there as well.
Okay.
So a lot of
All right.
these businesses that are there that ship into overseas, they're being hit hard.
I mean, their whole thing is just monstrous. That whole courier business, the international, like Amazon and UPS and all these
Can
companies.
you imagine what I'm trying to figure out is you sell something so cheap, like for example on Amazon, and then you're sending it overseas or you're sending it even local, free shipping. How much are you paying the driver? And where is your
but
profit margin in this?
it's about economies of scale, right? So if
drivers carrying a lot of parcels.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why you see all those videos of them throwing stuff, you know. So it's they're not treating things well, or they're rushing. I mean, not all of them, but it's a very common thing. There's videos because there's billions of deliveries being made probably every day, you know. So
it's
hundreds of million. Yeah, just the whole scale of logistics. And then I watched a video of like Amazon warehouse, like how everything's automated.
They're unbelievable. They're unbelievable.
Like the automation is the
little
automation
robots
is
just running around everywhere. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
The automation is next level. It's amazing to watch.
Can you believe he started all of this from his garage?
And books as well.
Books.
Books.
I still remember when he first started.
Yeah.
Amazon, and everyone was like, everyone was laughing at him. Who's going to order books online?
Yeah, because the internet was like really rubbish. Remember the page, how the pages looked like. This service that we're using is just a website, right? We're in a web page, and we are doing. We're just running off a web page. And 25 years ago, when he started, if you remember the internet, it was like nothing. Like there was nothing. The idea of giving a credit card out or something, it was just such a ridiculous.
It was crazy,
and you're going to get a delivery made to you, and so all of that is before PayPal and all that. So it's amazing where we are at the moment, how convenient it is. I mean, the deliveries are just ridiculous. Like especially in the West here, I've mentioned this before in Melbourne, because their warehouses just opened up.
Your house.
You can get
unbelievable. It's like somebody was here they were listening to me, like they were standing next to me. They said, "I'll get that for you," and then they went out their door, and then 6 hours later, 8 hours later, they appear. Here it is. Like like that's how. If I was like, what? Like in the morning, the guy came like 7 o'clock. And I go, what? Like, it didn't register a delivery that I made at 11 p.m. or something like that?
Yeah, I ordered something at 2 a.m.
You can get same day delivery.
It was here by 12 o'clock. No, this was not paying extra. This was just Amazon. 2 a.m. I ordered. It was here by like 12 o'clock.
Wow.
I remember it tripped me out.
That's like the equivalent of like the average person now lives like an emperor in 500 years.
Yeah. Even 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we have access to right now, as just a normal person, majority, 99% of the population didn't have access to it. They used to eat, sleep, work, and food was very basic.
And health wasn't very good.
Yeah.
It's people that complain today, especially in the Western countries, about how bad life is. Overall, it's better, but it's just that we are,
it's remarkably better.
Yeah,
I think people complain because they have a narrow window into like the world. Just their TV, YouTube. They haven't. Really
I think
the world.
You need to sit with older people. And when you talk to them, then you get a perspective. You get perspective, or just visiting poor countries, you get a perspective. But if you stay, like if your whole life you've been in Melbourne, like let's say if you're in your 30s and 40s, and your whole life you've been in Melbourne, you've never probably seen a blackout. You had one tremor, right? The floods are in the creek. That's our floods. Like we call it a flood, but they're in a creek. Because even in Victoria specifically, like on Melbourne specifically, like we don't experience like those massive floods.
The worst things we have here is just bushfires.
Yeah, we can smell the bushfire. We don't see it.
Yeah,
we smell it in Melbourne. That's just. I mean,
we've got it pretty good in Melbourne.
Yeah, and you got some of the best hospitals in it. You got probably the best hospitals in the world. Some of the best hospitals. They are like top of the range research. World-class research is done in Monash and other hospitals, Royal Melbourne, all that sort of stuff. So they're like leaders. They're leaders in medicine. you know, like, so yeah, like it's really like your, you know, of course this is a dunya perspective only, but like really is not much to complain about. Then you get whatever you want, like, you know, at your convenience, and you know, you're delivered to your home, you know, like like what, you know, what's amazing about America, like despite them inventing everything, how bad, I'm not saying, like when I see the videos, like have you seen that Philadelphia video, the streetscape, when the guy's just driving down the streets and the fentanyl addicts?
Really?
It's crazy. It's just,
it is the most weirdest. I'll show it to you afterwards. It is.
I haven't seen that.
They're like just people just hunched over, like not one, like tens of people. They got high and they're standing. They look like zombies. Like literally, they look like zombies, just hunched over, like standing, because they've taken a hit. But it's not one. It's just like they keep driving through. You would think it's somewhere like in Bombay or Karachi or some like third world country like that.
Yeah. I think
no. Like the level of poverty you're seeing in the rubbish in the streets and so forth. Like what's going on there? Like some of
when
the
when I went to Hawaii in 2014,
massive difference between rich and poor.
Yeah, there is. I went to Hawaii, and they literally what they were doing was they were taking basically homeless people from like much colder climates, like, you know, New York, basically the East Coast, and they were transporting them, like giving them free plane tickets to go to the West Coast or Hawaii. Yeah. So there was just a bunch of homeless people like at the beach just setting up tents, and it wasn't just homeless people. I shouldn't say that, but it was like families, you know, families that were, you know, just hit rough. Like, you know, you have
the states were exporting their homeless to other states. So California copped it. That's why they have an epidemic. Like epidemic,
California, Hawaii, they're copying it with homelessness. Because as you were saying, Milan, all the states are just exporting them.
Yeah, it's probably better for them, but now, like, you know, it's like to be in a warmer place than somewhere it's snowing.
Yeah, I wonder if they're still doing that.
What's that? I think no, it was exposed. It was exposed. They were sending people on buses across state lines to the other states and just dumping them from one state to another state and giving them free tickets and that thing. Not just plane tickets, there's bus tickets as well. But I think they've caught on to that, and they now. But like if they're in LA or they're in like they're on the beach, you know, and a lot of these people have mental health problems and substance abuse problems. There's a guy who does there's a channel where he interviews these people. I'd send it to Abdul Wajid
I've seen it.
Yeah, that's a very sad, like, it's sad.
Some of these people are quite intelligent. Some of these people are
they really
functional.
are.
It's just they just hit a tough spot.
Yeah.
But it's not some. There's a lot of people. There's like 100,000 or something in LA, like 100,000. Just the numbers are staggering. Like there's little tent cities are formed, you know. Yeah. So and even these woke people, like, we know they want to support, like even when the police want to move him out of the area, trying to do the job and clean, because it becomes a criminal area and so forth. The woke people, some are supporting, some don't like it, although they said they're woke and they love, but then they don't want them to stay, you know. And it's all over the world, like the way they treat homeless people, like it's not nice. Like I think it was in France, they built New York, they built the vents that come out from underneath the streets. I think there's like vents or something from the subway system. So there's like warm air that comes out. So that's where they used to sleep. So what they did was that they made the grating, the what do you call the grating, the grill, you know, they made in such a way you can't sit on it, you know, like, so it's all right. So like, all right, they can't sit here. Where are you moving them to? You know?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's sad, but it's such a massive that's what I'm saying. When you watch America, like when you see those landscape,
the
those
extremes.
Pictures, the extremes is because it's such a big country of 300 million plus 400 million, whatever it is, population, and just look at it, how just watching the whole you know, like a quote unquote superpower, but they can't take care of their poor, you know, like that. But anyway, that's
So what do you do there?
Where's
all
Australia
that money going? That's the thing. Where's all that money going?
Top end of town.
Always.
Yeah, corruption is like, and we see it now in Australia, like corruption.
Look at Gladys. What happened with Gladys?
Yeah, ICAC and all that. So that's something
What
to
do-
even Dingo is under Dan Andrews. There's some discussion.
Is that right?
I think is it IBAN, which is like our state body or something. There's some
Yeah.
discussions happening at the moment with him as well. So
Really?
yeah, something's happening. Something he did or something with the unions or something. There's something is brewing at the moment. And he said I've done nothing wrong.
There's going to be a lot of politicians quitting. I mean, there already is.
Yeah, and these
but I
guys.
heard Gladys is moving into federal politics. I read an article the other day for Warringah. I think there's some liberals saying that she should rose.
Sorry, guys.
Isn't that Tony Abbott's old seat? There's some liberals saying that she should go for.
She might get a seat,
run for the
but
seat of
she'll
Warringah.
never be made a prime minister. With this on her thing, no matter how much people cried, left flowers at her office.
Because it's such a big like taint on her name that I don't think even other
But
people,
is that
like other people in politics will
it
associate
is.
with it.
It is.
It is, man.
But do you think it is?
Yeah.
ICAC would have not done what it's done unless they had sufficient grounds to start an investigation.
Especially in the middle of a pandemic. Think about the amount of stuff that she already has to worry about, and I'm sure they know that, but they thought, we got to step in because she must have done something hectic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For ICAC to do it at this point,
yeah,
they could have waited another 2-3 weeks in the opening, which is like literally 2-3 weeks away. I think they've reached 70% already, so they're about to open up. They could have, but the fact that other states are going to look at it from a distance with suspicion. Even New South Wales voters, they're going to look at her with suspicion, and so it's her political career. I reckon it's. I personally think it's. I agree with Lata. It's probably over.
I don't reckon it's over.
No,
I think
it's hard to recover. Australian politics is like it moves very quickly because it's not the individual.
New South Wales loves her. It's not the other politicians or that are voting in or bureaucrats that are voting her in. It's the people on the ground.
Yeah,
but for her to go into federal, she has to consider the other states. You can't. So what if New South Wales loves her? I mean, now she's
doesn't matter.
Federal. That doesn't matter.
But if she's running in the seat of Warringah for any seat for a federal government, for a federal seat in New South Wales, the people that are going to vote her in are New South Welshmen.
Yeah, but that's all she's going to say. She's going to just stay in that little, like, you know what I mean, in that little seat of federal government because she won't get the support of the rest of the population.
They pushed her out. She's a successful premier overall, popular overall, but her own because it's her party that is the one that pushes her out. And it was brewing already. Like she's wrecking it for us. We need to quickly do while it's far away from elections. We need to get in a guy that is clean and move her out and build around him enough popularity that by the next election, the guy's already shown how capable he is. Like he's getting, like it's a smooth transition. And so they won't. So the idea now to bring her damaged goods to a federal, I don't think Allah knows best, but I don't think they'll. She's corrupt.
I don't know if she's damaged goods.
The accusation of corruption is there. That's not going to go down well.
Because how do you reconcile that?
Oh, look, it can just be. It is what it is. She made a mistake. That's politics.
Corruption, but like in politics,
no,
you know what I mean?
But she didn't. But it wasn't more. It was corruption, but the type of corruption we're talking, it wasn't really. It was more about I helped out this seat that my lover is running in.
Was there money involved?
5.5 million for the clay shooting club. But for the clay shooting club, not for him.
Yeah.
But like people are always going to say, she must have gotten.
There's kickbacks. There's little
kickbacks. Yeah.
Look at sports roads. Look what happened with sports roads with the Liberals. Nothing. But what actually happened at the end of sports roads? Open. It's there. The evidence is there. Just like they denied it, she said, "Look, I've done nothing wrong." What actually came out of it?
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
We'll see, man.
It's just little, storm in a teacup. That's what I think anyway.
I'm just more. Also, it's like it's a bit odd that all these politicians after her as well are quitting one after. Do you think they have any connections?
Yeah, because they never wanted Barilaro to be. The whole point was they didn't want him to be deputy PM. So she could have, instead of stepping down, she could have stepped to the side and said, look, I'm taking a back seat. Like when Dan Andrews had his back, right? This guy's going to be acting PM, premier. Now, the deputy premier for New South Wales is a national, all over the shop. So they could not risk having him in the driver's seat at a time like this. So it wasn't about Gladys. It was about, okay.
But there's always an understanding between the Liberals and National. The main spot is for the leadership. No. But the leadership, they have disagreements. But the leadership is always with the majority party, which is Liberal,
yes,
whether it be at a federal or a state level.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But if Gladys steps to the side, it's the deputy premier becomes the acting premier.
It doesn't have to. No, it's not.
Right. But
no, it's not.
What do you mean that's no, it's not? Of course it is.
No, it's not. The Liberal one, I know what you're saying. Logically, the guy's second in charge to take the top seat.
That was the whole.
But it's not about
process.
That's not. No, but that's their arrangement between the Nationals and Liberals. Is that the top job is always the majority party, and the secondary job is just to have that alliance. They always do that, even at federal level.
But that may be at a federal. That may be at a federal level.
But the Liberals are not going to follow a national leader. It's a given.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. That's my point. So that's why she had to step aside to stop all of this mess. And so Barilari was like, "Damn, like I can't work with this guy." So that's why he's resigned.
So you think they all resigned because they just don't want to work with this one national leader?
No, not with this.
It's hard. They've done a good job at hiding involved. What really. Yeah, we don't know what's happening.
Exactly.
They're doing a good job. Like all these factions. There's all factions within each party, and you've seen in Victoria now. Like the one guy became the leader. Now the other old guys become the leader again. In the factional fighting in Victoria Liberal Party. That's a normal part of politics. That's how it works. Like, and whoever gets the majority votes when they call in the whole party election, within the caucus, and then they decide among themselves who will be the, based on votes, and they do wheeling and dealing for cabinet positions and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, that's a political level. So it is transparent to a certain level, and it's good. Like ICAC and all these organizations, it's amazing actually that they can take.
ICAC's in the firing line of the Liberals at the moment.
Yeah, and they're trying to. They're stopping. You know what? You know what they're trying to stop, because there's no federal ICAC equivalent.
That's right.
So now the Liberals are basically
that's been going
trying
for
to
ages
stop
to get one.
Yeah, now they're trying to stop a federal, and it just shows you
a federal anti-corruption body.
It's amazing that they're trying to stop it. It's amazing that anybody would even try to stop it, and because one of their own,
we can't actually have this discussion and introduce, you know what I mean? Like, we live in an awesome country in a sense that we, you know what I mean? Like they're looking at organizations to look at them, I don't know, making corruption or being corrupt.
I mean, those organizations can become corrupted as well. They can have egos as well. So so it's you're dealing with human beings, but one thing is good is that these things are institutionalized, and once it's institutionalized, like royal commissions or these things, they create more transparency.
They're bigger than the man.
Even the journalism's aspect of it, and this is what we were discussing a little bit back and forth earlier, or that journalism can be fake news, can be trash, but also journalism serves if real journalism is done, like the investigative reports done by that world body of journalists into the Pandora files or papers, and exposing the most powerful, richest people, how they hide. How much was it? Trillions.
Yeah, trillions.
Not billions, trillions. They've. I think it was about $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion or some ridiculous amount of money. Not just that it's been shipped off and put into these tax havens in these poor country like Samoa and God knows where else, but Canary. What is it? Canary.
Vanuatu.
And what's the other ones in the Caribbean? There's a lot of those islands.
Canary Islands, the Virgin Islands.
That's not in. Yeah, that's right. So all those countries, so they hide money in make shell companies, which are basically fake companies, make fake directors, appoint real people, but they're appointed as
they're not fake companies, because the companies are following the laws of that state or that country.
No, they're called shell companies.
Yeah, they're shell companies, but it doesn't mean
they don't do anything. Their whole thing is to launder money,
but they're registered as a company. legally.
So
they're
they're
following
but
the
they're
laws
show
of that
companies,
country.
but they're not company that makes anything, or there's no office.
But that's of course.
Yeah, there's
But
no
if
office.
you
There's
had,
nothing.
if
Nothing's
you
happening.
had
It's
that
just
much money and you didn't want to pay tax, what would you do?
yeah. So they're doing all this
If
tax
you had
evasion.
access to it, I'd probably do it.
I
As long as
wouldn't.
it was halal.
But I don't know. Yeah, when we get that much, we'll talk about have this discussion.
All right,
on
I've
our
got $1
podcast.
billion that I need to hide.
Yeah.
We'll talk whether it's halal or not after this
And
podcast.
it's like a
If you had $1 billion to hide, I'm gonna borrow at least
no.
10
You know what they say, that tax avoidance is legal, tax evasion is illegal.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you hire a guy with a master's, I mentioned this before, but if you hire a guy with a master's in, he's a PhD in taxation, and he figures out all the little things to move your money and so forth. So this is fine as long as within the law.
But that's what this is.
But But here what's happened is majority of this stuff is tax evasion. On top of that, they've set up these companies to buy through other people, third parties, to buy properties, and this is the ridiculous level. This is like this level of greed
is corruption money from from like
exactly. So the source is coming, like for example, the King of Jordan, $70 million he spent on 3 apartments.
$70 million from
aid money, mostly aid money, because it's Jordan's like a third world poor country, and doesn't have like oil like its southern neighbors, so it gets a lot of aid money as being a sort of like a democratic, sort of like the extension of the West into the Middle East, I guess. It's got a king, but it doesn't matter. He's there like to make border with Israel, maintain peace. His father made peace with Israel, gave up Jerusalem, I guess. Because Jerusalem wasn't part of Israel, it was part of Jordan. They took it in 67 or whatever, 72. And so he lost Jerusalem and also accepted him as a state. But because of that, there are certain favors the West. But the problem is they give him that money. Like you took $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, I guess. All right, $70 million on 3. 70. No, I'm just saying on 3 beachfront apartments in LA or somewhere, right? $70 million. I mean, one apartment is worth $3 million. Just like process that. Like, what is this apartment? These are like three palaces that he's bought. That's not the money that he's taken or he has. He has no source of income.
That's the money.
That's the money spent dropped on those 3 apartments. That's what he used one of these shell companies in the Pandora list. That's not everything. Because we had the Panama ones before. We had there's another one. There's 2, 3 before that as well exposed. So now, like, that's a good thing about proper journalism, proper systems. But the deed is done now. There's no accountability for this.
Yeah, that's right. I actually feel that the ABC is actually pretty good. That's why their funding is getting cut every year, because they're catching people out.
Who?
It is the ABC.
This is not the ABC. This is like a world. No, it wasn't.
Was the World Journalism Body, but the Australian version of it, or the Australian part of it, was
because one of the accountants is Australian, but that's one.
The guy that actually established that company 40 years ago is an Aussie. He lives in Melbourne in Mornington Peninsula.
Yeah, but that's not the Pandora files. That's not the whole. No, he's one of the He's the Oz City, yeah. That's not the whole deal. That's one of
He's saying there's more than Oz City. Oh yeah, they said there's about 12.
Yeah, there's all these different characters, and there's much more than that. But anyway, like especially the Qatar family avoided. What was it? They bought someplace $100 million apartment. When I looked at the numbers, I was just thinking, you could basically make everybody in the world rich if you distribute. I mean, that's a very communist way of thinking, maybe, but like it's such a ridiculous.
There wouldn't be any homeless in LA. Let's put it that way.
It's such a ridiculous number of tax avoidance, evasion. Number one.
To me,
and the only thing that will fill these people's stomach is their mouth will be the soil of the grave. Nothing else will satisfy. I can't it's just, you look at it, like, where do you stop? Like, where's you draw the line? Like, like how many 100 million do you need before you feel like that's enough? It's
and the audacity of, like, you know what I mean, taxing, like, you know, these are the same people that, you know, tax their citizens, and then they take
King Abdullah was talking about austerity. He was talking about austerity. He was preaching about austerity during the last few years. That's the lecture that he was giving to people about austerity, how hard it is, and so forth. Right?
Yeah.
and he's considered like the man of the people and all that sort of nonsense. The Qatari family is the same. Some of the other ones, there's English people in there as well, like English royals, not royals, like you know, what do you call them, like lords or whatever, sirs, knights, whatever. So those, they're in there as well. Like the amount of tax that this is not what they purchased. They, like, one of them dodged $18 million tax.
Yeah,
like in purchasing property in the UK, $18 million worth of tax. So the property was worth like it just boggles the mind, like how much money.
Think about the average person. If they're like short on $60, ATO will be, you know, on their case, and it's and people you know, they're making like millions upon billions of dollars, and it's the same.
They're chasing what they can. They're chasing who they can.
But it's the same people that are, I guess, writing the rules. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are doing the collecting of taxes.
And this is why communism existed in the first place.
Yeah.
Because of this, because of the bourgeois and the aristocrats, and because they created this hate in the common man, who's becoming more educated, becoming more smart about the world, and realizing what's actually going on. And I'm talking about 200 years ago, and education is becoming common. And communism was a natural result because they can see the excesses. And it's not to say that communism is like this perfect model or something. We can see in China that, was it Evergrande?
Oh, no.
Yeah, Evergrande.
Do you know are you going back to China number one?
Do you know how much?
China number one.
Do you know how much debt that company's accrued?
Evergrande. It's crazy.
Do you know how much? You know the debt? $400 billion.
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness.
It does $400 billion, not million.
You know, they have
400.
You know, those guys have a lot of real estate here in Australia. If they default, that's going to be pretty heavy.
Yeah, this is GFC.
Evergrande, do they?
Yeah,
I thought Evergrande was property developers. They don't actually.
No. They have like multiple.
They have they have like multiple subsidiaries, and one of
real
them
estate,
is,
hotels.
Real estate,
there's different things. Yeah, but how do you accrue
$400? Executives in China are going to be worried now, because you know what?
Yeah,
he's going to make an example of them.
Yeah,
this is GFC 2. They're talking about, you know, the Lehman Brothers. This is the equivalent of that, maybe worse, because the economic situation, global situation, is much worse than it was in 2008 during the GFC.
Government, the GFC,
but you know what?
They got bailed out.
Yeah, by
all the big players. It was a little man that got hurt, and that's what.
Do you guys want to put that all into perspective? USA, I think, what was it like? But just a month ago, printed $3 trillion. So if we're talking about 400 billion, right, in debt, you know, just a month ago, America created $3 trillion worth of debt just out of thin air. For what? You know, the stimulus funds. You know, supporting businesses for, I guess, COVID relief and whatnot, kind of like what we're doing here. So even 4 billion sounds like a lot of money, but when you put it into perspective,
400 billion, mate.
Yeah, it still sounds like a lot, but
it's one company. It's one company. There's another one collapsing, Fantasia or something like that.
Yeah.
There's another one that a Chinese company as well that's about to collapse as well.
Yeah.
That one's worth like.
So could this mean that due to this reason, China's doing the whole Taiwan thing, flying planes over to divert people's attention?
It's scapegoat. It's just a scapegoat. Evergrande is a scapegoat for an eventual, you know what I mean, economic crash, and that will probably be the pretext of why they need to go to war. You know what I mean? Feed the what is it called? The military industrial, you know, machine. Yeah.
Just
feed that.
You
machine.
know that Fantasia defaulted on making their payment. Like, you know, you do loan payments, interest payments.
Yeah.
You know what their payment was? It was
what?
due yesterday or something like that. $108 million. That's the payment. That's the You know, the $25 or whatever you have to pay minimum or whatever the Commonwealth Bank when they threaten you.
Lata's in the 108 million category.
Yeah. How much did they owe? It doesn't say.
And in the end, this money, like when you really think about it, it actually doesn't mean anything because they can just print it.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, they just literally print it. It's all a facade. It's all a facade so that they can.
Yeah, but that's the same as exactly the same as like crypto. You have an understanding of crypto. Crypto is exactly works on the same principle.
Not really though. One is.
Look, he's setting you up, Lata. Look at his face.
but it isn't.
Tell me more.
One, right, is controlled is centralized, right? It's controlled by an entity, whoever it is, and they have a monopoly over it, and they can press print and print as much as they like. Whereas cryptocurrency, depending on which one you're looking at, let's just focus on Bitcoin. No one has any monopoly over it. There isn't.
Doesn't change the basic principle. It doesn't have an intrinsic value. Like neither of them has intrinsic value. But if America, you can't just print money. You can't just print money. See, basic economics. You can print it, but you're going to pay the price for inflation. That's what's going to. There's adjustments will be made. It's going to have a. We'll look at this when you look at the World Bank and IMF discussion. Whenever we have that, inshallah, we'll look at this point as well about printing money. It's a very big topic.
We're gonna lose the podcast here.
That discussion is going to be hours.
It's going to be hours.
No. We'll
segue back into where we want to go, which is.
Yeah. Look, this is a big topic, and we're talking about China and
yes, that's
the Pandora, and we're talking about the Pandora files. Actually, we're talking about Pandora files.
That's
interestingly enough, just some of the characters, the East African, was it Kenyan? What is it? That family? How much are they worth? How many tens of million? $30 million, something they have put in shell accounts, right?
What about the Sri Lankan family? 160 million.
Yeah, and there's a Turkish builder who put some ridiculous like amount. The one that built the palace for everyone. He built the palace. He built the palace for the presidential palace for Erdogan. So he I think it's 1,000 rooms or something. That palace, presidential palace. So that cost $1 billion to build that whole thing, palace. And that guy, the builder of that, the one that's given the contract, he's so all of these guys, like the ones that we looked at, like they're not like us. And this is what I wanted to say. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like the middle class or even the upper middle class. They're nowhere near. They're in the stratosphere. They're somewhere else. And the numbers that they're talking about, like this is the movers and shakers in the world, quote unquote. They keep us busy in fighting of COVID, no COVID, vaccine, no vaccine. They don't care about this stuff. They've got the top experts, specialists, private doctors who come and they will give them whatever they need. And if it's research, whatever, they'll tell them, take the vaccine, not vaccine. They'll do all the due diligence.
They have a whole team. They have a whole team.
Yeah, they have a whole different level. But what they do is they keep us fighting, the rest of us, gives us bread and circus. If that's not, and then we're fighting amongst each other for a piece of the pie or just trying to get a better life or to get the basics, while these guys roll around in billions. And that's the weird part of it. Is the level of wealth is so astronomical. I mean, it's dunya, it's temporary, all that sort of stuff. But it's kind of amazing that there's that many of them. And I don't think historically
but I think society has to have rich and poor. It's just the way it was set up. Even in the time
but I don't think this
last time they had rich and poor.
I think
now it's too much, man. It's just there's so much money out there, and it's just crazy that one person can sit with over 100 billion, in their bank account.
And China, for example,
or as shares.
China might talk about communism and giving everybody's the same, but it's not. The guy owns Alibaba. He's not the same. The lady that owns Evergrande.
He's not the same anymore since they had a chat with him anyway.
Exactly.
He's not even around anymore. Have you guys even seen him?
Jack Ma.
No. He made an appearance. No. He was playing golf. There's a
but that's it. It's very choreographed appearances now.
Yeah, they've reined him in.
I wouldn't
But
I wouldn't be surprised if they like got a double and like killed him and just showed him like here and there playing golf.
yeah,
Allah Allah.
You know what? You're right.
yeah. No, but like what they've got now in China, that
You heard it here,
Evergrande,
folks. Jack Ma
the
is dead.
Evergrande lady, she's a daughter of a previous prime minister, right? So they got these oligarchs. Russia's very similar, like Russia's not communist, but it's an ex-communist state. But they've set up
connected.
So there's no real like is there a country where there's such a the leaders are in such a way that they really do look out for every single person? Because Rasulullah Sallallahu didn't talk about poor. He was poor himself. He's probably the poorest in the society himself. Right? Like he had no food in his house.
Paraguay.
Yeah, that guy, the Uruguay, the president of Uruguay. That's probably the only like
documentary. He drives
Venezuela too.
No, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. All over the place, man.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's actually happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Chaos.
The Uruguay one.
The Uruguay, Uruguay. You can't
the
beat
vice stock. He drives around in
very
could be
yeah. But is that a real representative of the whole elite of that society? And how long will that last? How long will the ones that are ultra uber wealthy? Yeah. They'll bring out some guy, puppet at least, to work for them. All these parties, these two-party systems that they have in the West, especially, like I think throughout the world, they sort of both are. It's like tag team, They're working for. So this is the China one's a weird one because they're like uber wealthy now, and then on top of that, they're supposed to be a communist. And like they've decided, like he's announced, like what's his name, the president. Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping has announced that.
I just say GGG.
He has announced. What did he announce? Oh, we're going to finish poverty. Like that in China, we're going to totally end poverty. Like there'll be no poor people.
But the thing is, the fact that he said that, he's going to go hard trying to get it.
Yeah, and similarly also about taking Taiwan. But the thing, what interesting to note is, US's official policy is one China.
Yes,
the officials.
That's most of the world. That's correct.
That's
the rest of the world. The United Nations policy.
Taiwan is not seen. Taiwan is not seen as a country by the United States. It's official, and Biden reaffirmed it like just recently.
Yeah,
like he reaffirmed it that the
so
US.
What's the deal then?
Because Taiwan is the representative. This is an old thing. They're the successors of the nationalists who fought the communists. In mainland China, they were defeated by the communists after the nationalists basically not defeated, but helped the Allies against the Japanese, right? So this is why there's that long-term loyalty.
And these nationalists in Taiwan actually ran away with a lot of Chinese treasure.
Yeah, so there's you can say it's loyalty. You can say it's they're hoping that Taiwan will influence mainland. Very highly unlikely now. But it's only 35 million.
That was the hope in the past, but now
it's like China's gone so far ahead.
Look at Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Well, Hong Kong is still, it's a two system, one state, two system.
That's what they say, but you know what's scary? Hong Kong, if you have a look at the GDP of China, Hong Kong was a major contributor.
Yeah.
With all these laws, Hong Kong's pretty much gone off the radar. They don't care. It's not about economics. For China, it's for the government. This is not about, this is a big cash cow for us. It's not about economics.
I think they just have a different vision.
You do what we say.
I think they have a different vision for where they want their economics to be.
That's correct.
It's not the same as what an average person in the West would sort of see. Oh yeah, this is what you're going to jump on. I think they've got a whole totally different, I guess, agenda. If they're on the same trajectory that they're on currently right now, eventually, for them to, continue, they need to be able to, I guess, take over America, and that means being able to replace, their dollar. And to do that
by 2030, it's going to be the world's biggest economy. It's on track for it.
Yeah.
So when you're in charge of that, You got a bit of power.
Yeah. As soon as you get everybody to basically recognize your money as the standard.
No, I'm listening. I'm just reading something on the phone. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, as soon as you get someone to you know what I mean, like take your money as a standard, and they start buying and selling things internationally, it's all over. I mean, that's why America's so wealthy as they are right now, you know, because everyone when we're buying things internationally, we have to buy within US dollars. Like if you're buying shares, it's all in US dollars.
I don't think China and Russia have changed that.
Yeah, so
the dealings that China and Russia do with each other is not US dollars.
No, you can't. They can't avoid it because every single country deals, unless it's like China and Russia only, you know. But every single other country deal with US. So if China wants some sort of product from France, some sort of product from Australia, Japan, they have to deal in US dollars. You know, they need to always have US reserves. Yeah, they're actually the biggest US cash reserve holders. China, like they use that money to manipulate and, you know what I mean, throw their word around when it comes to like poor countries.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Last thing. It's already been an hour or so. So last thing was there's a hashtag that's going in the Twitter regarding boycotting Indian goods. After in certain areas of India where they're mistreating Muslims. That's really caught on so many.
I haven't seen that.
It's on Twitter mainly, and it's in mostly it's in Arabic. But I was just reading one of the is an Indian analyst. He's saying boycott Indian goods trending in the Gulf countries. Everything affects everything because the Indian economy, the backbone is the remittances that come from the Gulf countries. Like that's highly dependent on it.
Are they
to keep it? Yeah, big time. Not just remittances, but also businesses and so forth. So this is a massive effect on because all laborers they're coming from India, mainly from India.
Yeah, but the thing is, some of the governments in the Middle East love India. Think about it. When what do you
these are coming even from ministers, and you'll be surprised at what level that actually. Really? And it's weird. It's weird because they keep quiet in China. But I think the videos of what they're doing in India, certain places where there's lynching happening, and because it's being filmed, meaning they're not even ashamed to do it. They feel so overconfident they're filming and sharing it, that's reached into the Middle East. And at a certain point, you know, those crimes, so they're having an effect. I saw so many sheikhs that I follow on Twitter. I mean, I deleted Twitter because I'm just getting sick of it, social media. It's too much information, but it's catching on, and people actually taking, and they do take, believe me, the countries that take notice of it, because when the French thing happened, if you remember, Muslims were emptying out their supermarkets of French goods, Dutch goods, or something like that, you know. So it does matter, you know. It affects, like, it hits them in a very sensitive spot. Especially when it came to France, it was about dairy and farm goods, right? They're always looking for markets for their farmers. And when they like, there's people just started chucking French stuff out, you know, into streets, like emptying their fridges out, that we're no longer going to stock their goods anymore. Then you know, so it has a real world effect, and of course that includes importers, businesses from you know, that goods are coming from India. So pressure is going to be mounting on, because they can find other markets in the region, you know. So that's the thing. The only problem is I don't see the same equivalence because maybe the media campaign is not so strong, and they don't allow. There's such strict control that with the Uyghurs in China, that not a lot gets out.
We don't know what's happening there.
Or even in Burma as well, and like there's not details coming out of what's actually happening there. That's like the way the Burmese operate is they put like the whole state, no media is allowed to go, no foreigners allowed to go to.
Yeah, and not just that.
China's the same. Very
now, everyone's feeling sorry for the protesters in Burma because they're fighting against the coup. But how many of these guys were there actually committing genocide?
Yeah, including
including
Buddhist monks. Buddhist monks were involved. They were inciting the people.
Yes.
You know?
Mm.
Yeah. So it's sort of weird.
It's funny.
very
It's
selective.
funny how that turned around. Subhanallah.
What's that?
With the Burmese people, like Burma, how it just turned around. How they were like, they were oppressing the Muslims, and then now they're getting oppressed. It's just it all comes around.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's sort of like a triple stand. I don't know how the Arab countries operate. I think that when there's a groundswell, these rich elites, they wake up because they realize something of theirs might be getting affected. I don't know how they think, like what they worry about. Like looking at one side, looking at these Pandora files, I said, how can this person possibly understand the pain of an average person?
They can't.
It's like sometimes you wonder what is actually.
You can't. It's a completely different. It's a different mindset, different life, everything.
Yeah,
it's complete. Like the thought processes aren't the same.
Yeah, it can never be.
I remember going to uni with this Malaysian guy. Right, this was when I was in Adelaide. Like when I was at Adelaide Uni with this Malaysian guy. He was a mate. I don't know where he's gone now, but his father used to import or export, whatever it was, sand for golf courses.
Okay.
Right, the sand in the bunkers.
Yeah.
But he had his own ships with which he used to do. I remember this guy. He had like, what was it? I can't even remember. Some Nissan top of the range car back then. And I'd call him and I go, "What are you up to?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just driving to Sydney." And back then, as a university student, I'm just like, "Man, I got my own car. I just got to make sure I got enough money for petrol for this week." Right? This guy is driving to Sydney. You call him another time. "Oh, we just came up to Darwin for the weekend with my girlfriend." This is like at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
He's got his own apartment in the city. They can't process a normal person's life.
Yeah, this is what one of the Khalif, when we were studying madrasa, there was a story of the Khalifa, one of the famous, I think it was Abbasi Khalifa. So the tutor, the prince's, the crown prince's tutor. So one day he was the best student in his best and favorite student. Then one day, for no reason, the teacher just started, like he gave him a walloping, just like smashed him. And so the student was good and he didn't understand why his teacher did that to him. And then when he became Khalifa, he called that teacher. When the boy became the Khalifa, he said, "You hit me that day. Why did you hit me?" Because now he's the Khalifa, he has to answer. So he said that I gave you a taste of zulm, of oppression, that you never do to anybody else. Because I know that you're going to become the Khalifa one day. So I want you to taste oppression, that for no reason someone takes your right. Take zulm, because that's what they need. Each of these guys needs this guy needs a good being,
Or he was like, "This is going to be Khalifa. This is the only time I can do."
Yeah. So he said, "I knew, because I knew that you're going to become, and therefore,
I have to get my shot
therefore, zulm. No, I want you to taste zulm, so you know what it tastes like, so you never do it to anybody else." Those were teachers, Anyway, like one of the, I think there's another book.
You're going to get arrested.
Yeah. I'm not. None of us are gonna. None of our kids are becoming khalifas. They're all Muslim. They're all on Centrelink. They're all getting, or study, and they're all paupers already. They've already got a taste of it, So they don't need to. They don't need to worry about that. But what we don't have is actually like real poverty. Our kids probably
but they're
seen.
not all. Hang on a second. They're not all on Centrelink. They're working as well. Some of those guys are working. It's not they're all Centrelink.
No, I'm not saying like dodgy. Everybody's on Centrelink, even if they're working. I mean, like everyone's poor in Australia.
Yeah,
everyone I know is poor. Even the rich ones, they also say taking from Centrelink as well. I mean, not legally. Legally, I'm talking about. So, but the point being is that that's something has to be lived and experienced, and then it's a rare thing that you get a.
Where's he going?
We lost.
His
phone's
enough.
Flat. He's enough. I think we wrap it up as. Huh? No, that's fine. Inshallah. We'll wrap it up. Inshallah. I think.
You're frozen.
Many brothers say, "Please, when's the next one?" But also, you can't just demand. There's a brother who demanded the next one. Every week he asks us, "When's the next one?" also give us some ideas as well. I'll just add Lata back. So you're back
battery
again.
went
What
flat,
happened?
didn't it?
Yeah,
Oh.
just
Yeah. So let's wrap this up.
Well,
So
I know
what I
you
was saying
froze
is,
as well, so I missed what you were saying about the ideas.
oh, okay.
thing.
What I was saying was that if we can get people to provide their feedback and topics and ideas for us to discuss as well, it'll
That's
make it easy
Pandora's
for
box.
us.
yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
That's
So
a Pandora's box.
you also can talk. We can talk, engage in community level news. We don't know what's happening in the whole community in Melbourne. We don't know what's happening with the Muslims in Australia. Everything, like we try to search and look for and contact people, and things have come across our path. But you can also share ideas and so forth, and we can discuss that, inshallah. I'm not talking about fiqhi issues or masail, like that's there as well. Depends on what the topic is.
Cannibalism.
Yes, or whatever. No, this is not a fiqhi. Then I have to go. These guys are not going to do anything. I got to
What
go
are you talking
research and
about? You've got me here as well.
yeah.
I got this.
So
Chef Google.
so therefore, like we, your feedback is very much appreciated. Ideas for what topics to discuss would be really good, inshallah. Inshallah, we'll call it a night.
Thank you for
there are
listening.
quite a lot of friends and family and people that we know that are in
Yes.
hospital. I don't want to talk about it. We mentioned before, we don't want to talk about COVID all the time, and it's getting tiring talking about it. But inshallah, make dua for them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them a speedy recovery and they're back home with their families.
Ameen. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Give ideas on cannibalism in the comment section. Well, no, not just cannibalism, on whatever you like. Maulana's keto diet, maybe the next diet Maulana can try next week. Are you up for it? And brisket.
Inshallah.
How to make the best brisket.
Inshallah.
Lata. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.